I witness every day how small moves we make can bring so many changes to us and to our community. So why I'm going to speak about this? Because speaking about volunteerism and activism, at the same time speaking about education and being a teacher makes me really happy, and I really like to share it with you. So what actually the volunteerism means? It will be something that you are ready to do, to work, to give your time, skills, and knowledge without being paid for it. So there's no financial benefit, but what you will get are some emotions that are really priceless. So speaking about activism is a little bit more complex. It's usually connected to some different campaigns that can be based on the work of an individual, but at the same time it can go to the global level. As a teacher, as well as an activist, I witness every day things that scientists define like benefits of volunteerism. So among many things that I really see throughout my experience, two of them I would like to share with you today. The volunteering makes you happy, and the more you give, the happier we feel. So I'm sure that each of us can give some time, knowledge, and skills to do some volunteering work and to do some activism. But how is it connected to my teaching experience? So as a high school teacher, I work in a school that implements the international program that requires students to do some social service and to look around in a society around them, trying to find some problems and at the same time trying to make solutions. So I'm really happy that I can work with young people that every day, with so many activities of a high importance, we can change the world around us, starting from people around us, our school, our city, and much, much more. At the same time, I have to say that education policy in our country established this program in all general high schools in Sarajevo. And a few years ago, we started with a program that requires every student of this school to have minimum 10 hours of the social service during one school year. So look around and see what these people, young people are doing, because the quality of their activities and the number of activities is really impressive. So what if each of us decide to do some voluntary work? So very often you will wonder, what can I do? But the list can be really, really long. So you can start with the people around you to see if there are some people in need, or looking for some problems we have in culture, sports, education, trying to support people involved in this, or environmental problems. I'm sure there are a lot of them. So the list can be really, really long. So what if each of us decide to be an activist? It will be definitely something that will bring so many changes around us. So what changes can it bring? I can speak about my experience, and I'm really happy that I can share it today with you, just giving you examples. What can you do alone, but with your friends, very important, with your family and people around you. So my journey actually started when I was a student. I'm a music teacher, so I had my experience working in the SOS Kinderdorf, doing music therapy with kids. For me, that was 2 years of great experience. For kids that had a problem with the focus and concentrations, it was really significant progress. And I can say that it was actually something that made me think, what's the next thing I can do? So among different things, I come to the story about environment. So a very casual conversation I had with my friends led us to an idea to organize an activity and organize an event on social media where we will invite our friends and our neighborhoods to join us in an activity to clean up area of Wilsonovo šetalište. So the number of people that were interested led us to an idea that we have to invite more people for the whole Sarajevo, and that resulted with an activity called Let's Clean the City in One Day. So on March 16th in 2019, the citizens of Sarajevo really cleaned the city. So the result of that activity brought us to a new idea, which was to organize an activity that will be based on cleaning picnic area Barice, with more than 8 tons of garbage collected in just one day. The result was impressive, but not just because of that, but because of the fact that we actually had with us high schools, we had with us institutions, municipalities, the people that came just to help us, and then also the sponsors that provided us with everything necessary for that activity. So just from this casual conversation, Nedi, Melma, Senad, and Aida were really activists. And then the thing that I enjoy speaking more than anything else is actually an activity that is connected to my work helping sick children. So the story begins in 2001 when I had the life opportunity to meet Dr. Ettore Pedretti, an Italian pediatric cardiologist. So he was interested for the situation about children with heart diseases in our country. But unfortunately, in that moment, that was really bad situation. Even today is not much better. And he offered me possibility, if I'm ready to help him, to organize medical treatments for sick children from Bosnia in Italy. So as a student, I didn't know anything about medicine, but I accepted to do things that are like organizing and managing the process, which means that I had to come with one very simple letter offering possibility for kids to be treated in Italy, to find doctors and clinic in Bosnia that will be ready to cooperate with them, and then to help parents, hospitals, and everything in preparing documentation in a certain period, the visas and contact with the embassies, to organize the transport, and at the moment when kids arrive to Italy, to be connection between doctors and parents and the family in Bosnia. In that moment, with this offer given by doctor, I knew two things. I was sure about it. So the first one is that I have to accept this offer, and the second one that the only way I'm going to do that is voluntarily, because it's the only way it makes sense. So in next years, until today, we organized the medical treatments for 72 kids from Bosnia, which is like 3 classes of my students in school. I'm not in a possibility to share all these stories with you, trying not to start to cry, but I will try to share 2 of them. So the first one is about boy Emir. Emir is a boy who was in hospital, and I met him just because I went there with my students from school to bring some help to another boy. And in the same room, in a hospital, there was Emir, at that moment 9 years old. He was extremely tiny and with extremely sad eyes. The reason was this one. He was just waiting for a surgery that would have to relocate his colon for the rest of his life. He was 9 years old. And then I asked doctors in the hospital if there is a possibility, if we can look for to try to actually organize medical treatment in Italy, even he wasn't a kid with a heart disease. We had 5 days before the next meeting of doctors to decide what to operate and what to do with Emir. And in these 5 days, you wouldn't believe how many things we did, because something inside me was just telling me that he doesn't have to be operated, and I was right. So he went to Italy, and after a very short period, the doctors defined that the surgery is not necessary, that they will change his therapy, and that he's going to be in Italy for the long period treatment and monitoring. And today, I'm extremely proud of him. Emir is a member of Rocking 1000, the biggest rock band, and just recently graduated Faculty of Medicine in Parma. Thank you. And this is Eman. Okay. Eman was born with extremely difficult heart disease, Here's my second story today. And this heart disease was that complicated, even additionally because of the fact that Eman spent first months of his life connected to oxygen tank. Believe me, we made so many passport photos for babies that were still connected to oxygen tank because they were newborn and they had to be evacuated immediately. So after a few months, Eman started to breathe on his own. But that was just beginning of the journey for his parents to try to find a hospital that will be ready to operate on him. And the answers were negative because it was too complicated. So I met Eman's mother in 2006. And Eman, and this is that year. So we sent his medical record to Italy, and Dr. Pedretti, in a short period of time, informed me that surgeons from Sant'Orsola Hospital are ready to operate on him. So they went to Italy, and Eman had this extremely complicated operation. Doctors even offered to his family to stay in Italy so that they can monitoring his heart from the scientific point of view, because it's so unique. And Eman is a student today, and he's somewhere in the audience, so thank you for coming. So, activism is so important. And very often I wonder, what if the things hadn't turned up this way? What if I didn't meet Dr. Pedretti? What if I didn't accept this possibility? What about these activities my students are working and I kind of force them to do it and to understand the importance of that? So, activism is very important. Sometimes it makes wonders. What is important to understand that actually how many lives we can touch with just one simple positive intention. Do it voluntarily from your heart. It's the only way it makes sense. Thank you.